Hello, everybody. Welcome. Tracy, Wen, Joseph, John, Hillary, Ashton, Brian. I see you guys all coming in. William, Joseph, Chance. Guys, welcome. Welcome. We're going to give it about 20-ish seconds just to let everybody come into this virtual stage. And then we will get started. Alrighty, I see the number is slowly coming to a standstill, so we will go ahead and get started. We don't want to waste any time. My name is Ariel Rafua, and I want to definitely welcome you guys to TRA Marketplace 2020 virtual version. We're very excited to have you guys today. Today's webinar title is called Restaurant Tech You Need Right Now. So good thing you're here because you need to know it right now. And also throughout this webinar, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask it in the Q&A button down below or the chat window. We will get to it at the very end. So just be sure to ask it and then we will get to it. And without further delay, guys, I would like to introduce to you our sponsor, Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages. Coca-Cola, thank you so much for sponsoring Silicon Hill Stage. We couldn't do it without you, and we do have a quick video for you guys.
We at the Coca-Cola Company believe the health of our water sources is essential to the health of our communities, which is why we're helping to replenish the mighty Rio Grande, as well as over 30 watersheds across the country. We're also leading water projects in more than 100 communities. And for every drop we use, we're working to give one back, because our products rely on the same thing as we all do: clean water. And we care about it like our business depends on it.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys. Cheers to Coca-Cola. Go grab one if you have one. But I would like to go ahead and introduce to you guys Brita Rosenheim, who is a partner at Better Food Ventures. Brita has over 15 plus years experience of food and tech investment. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Brita. Thank you so much for being here, Brita.
Thank you very much for having me. Have I come up? I don't know. Am I on the screen now?
Yes, you are.
All right, here we go. Let me just share my screen then. Oops. Hold on. All right, here we go. So hi, everyone. I'm Brita Rosenheim. As I mentioned, from Better Food Ventures, we make early stage investments in agriculture technology and food technology companies. And here I'm here to talk to you about kind of the future, the near-term future of food tech. We're in this crazy world of this new normal, and with this new normal means new notions of what constitutes even a restaurant. During the pandemic, we've seen the restaurant industry face severe challenges, obviously severe declines in revenue, labor losses. We've seen a lot of permanent closures. So restaurants are going to need to fight hard to survive, as you already know, for your restaurant operators. And in terms of the technology trends, it's not brand new, COVID-related trends that we're looking for. It's really accelerating the pre-COVID trends and embracing new notions of what constitutes to be a restaurant, looking to technology to strengthen your brand and your relationship with your customers. And how do you increase margins to have a new definition of, what a restaurant is. So with that, hold on, let me see if I can get this to the next page. There we go. So these are the 5 themes that I'm focused on in terms of shaping technology in the restaurant space right now: discovery, on-premise, off-premise, omni-channel, loyalty, automation. There's obviously a tremendous number of other technology trends that are impacting the space, but these are the 5 that I'm going to focus on now that I think will help restaurant operators strengthen their business, currently and for the next 12 to 24 months. Oops. So this is a topic, aggregators. This is a topic that seems, it's less operational, but it's important because the customer search and discovery process was an important topic even pre-COVID times, but it's all more important now because we're having customers look for information, trying to understand if restaurants are even open, do they have new menus, what are their takeout options, and so controlling your digital footprint across Google and third-party applications is critical to establishing trust with your customer. Aggregators are going to continue to disrupt the customer journey, which means operators have less control over the content about their restaurants. There's reviews out there through all these third-party platforms. There's online ordering and delivery platforms, which you don't have control over even sometimes what menu they're showing. But I'm going to talk to you a few ways that you can control your online experience and the narrative that you're delivering to your customer. So, historically, we've seen a ton of US search and discovery aggregators, both on the content side, the reservation side, ordering and delivery. These are just a few of them. But increasingly, the aggregators are getting aggregated. 2 out of 3 marketers now determine Google as the new homepage for Google for local business. What does this mean for you? This means that you can't fully ignore these third-party platforms, but we've reached a point where Google and Google Maps have become the de facto top of the funnel. So when people search for what spots are open to them, they're looking generally in Google Maps. And often they're finding what they need in Google Maps, and they're not even scrolling down to look at the organic searches. So this is an example of Google Maps profile in New York. Google has increasingly structured results. So they're telling you what's nearby, they're personalizing it to your taste. You can see Google thinks this restaurant is 70% match to my taste. They're telling you reviews, photos, business hours, delivery and reservation options, all of this without clicking into any other website. In particular, you can see that the little icon right here for the website is eclipsed by all of the real estate that the aggregators are getting. So even if you have your own website, it's not really even presented on this page. People have to go through the extra effort to go through to your website. You can also see that the aggregators are slugging it out. So, there's 4 options here for pickup or delivery, but then you also have advertisements in the bottom left-hand corner from Seamless to try to get ahead of the pack here. So what does this mean for you? Make sure your Google business profile and your company website are fully up to date, especially during these COVID times. So help your customers plan, prepare, alleviate their concerns by delivering clear messaging around your safety protocols, any new menu items, hours. You want to make sure that you have uniform information across all sites. But if you only have the time, then focus on your Google business profile and your company website. So the next topic I'm going to talk about is reimagining both on and off premise. Even before COVID, we saw this shift towards off premise, but now this new demand for takeout and delivery is going to completely reshape the basic premise of what a restaurant is. We're looking at increasingly social distance future, even beyond the pandemic. We're creating new behaviors in terms of online ordering and delivery. So the growth of off-premise, in my opinion, is only going to continue. During the crisis, we've seen many full service and full dining restaurant concepts try a fast casual approach. They were testing this even before COVID again, to try to appeal to younger millennial customers, but typically you weren't seeing the Michelin-starred restaurants trying this. And so, we've seen every type of restaurant figure out, whether it's turning into a grocery store or, doing meal kits, trying to figure out how can they stay connected with their customer and stay open, during the coronavirus. But going forward, we're going to see increased need for tech-focused integration. You're going to need to optimize your menus for takeout whether you're fine dining or QSR, takeout is here to stay. And figure out, how do you inject hospitality into those interactions? Historically, a lot of brands have treated third-party delivery as a low-margin afterthought, and that's legitimately so. A lot of third-party operators, as you know, take tremendous margins. But now it's a pillar to operating your business, and so it's important now to take the time to develop an effective strategy for managing both third-party, but white label ordering as well. I have just some of very many white label ordering and delivery options here, just to give you a head start in terms of some of the leaders in the space. But in addition to white label ordering, I also emphasize that it's important to kind of think through the specifics of your third-party relationships. Develop rules on what are appropriate markups. Can you get access to end user data? What's more cost effective in terms of packaging? All of this helps you streamline your processes to make pickup as efficient and high margin as possible. So related to that, we now have this new on-premise situation where, yes, you have your physical location, but a lot of it is driven by digital sales and off-premise. So that's going to shift the physical design of your restaurant as well. Again, this is the important time to think about the industry. How do you innovate your restaurant design? How do you reinvent your menu to optimize for delivery and takeout? These new customer behaviors. Think about your store footprints. And I'll discuss this later, but you need to integrate a digital customer experience throughout your operations. So this is a kind of looks like it. Historically, I think this would have looked like a QSR checklist, but again, this makes sense even for fine dining. The new restaurant experience needs to accommodate mobile customers, delivery drivers. Physical characteristics, as I said, are likely to be smaller footprints, limited to no seating, separate areas for in-person and takeout orders. You're going to have increased off-premise commissary ghost kitchen prep for multi-unit operators. You might even, look for additions of drive-through or, pickup lanes. So these are some of the considerations for, building a new digital forward restaurant. The customer experience is going to change in this new physical layout, because you're going to be thinking about employees for digital orders that are dedicated for digital orders, touchless, frictionless ordering pickup methods using QR codes, NFC tags, obviously increase mobile kiosk order operations, anything that elevates the contactless experience, but still allows you to have a physical location. So here are, again, just some of very many on-premise, you can have ordering and payments solutions that are utilizing kiosk, order ahead, white label ordering. They're utilizing facial recognition, giving you a virtual drive-through where you can order ahead and do curbside pickup. So these are some of the companies that are innovating in this space and had a strong track record even ahead of COVID. So digital integration is paramount. A lot of the off-premise orders previously were still not digital. You still have a lot of phone orders. Before COVID, less than 10% of sales were digital channel sales, which is both on-premise and off-premise, which is online, mobile, app, and kiosk. Obviously, there's been a strong surge during COVID, and I think that a lot of those behaviors will continue, but it's still not at the level that's optimal for running an optimized digital business. Why do you want a digital customer? You get higher average checks because you can target and personalize and understand your customer through first-party data. You can also upsell, incentivize. You have better operational impacts in the back of house because you have a better understanding and vision in terms of the volume that's coming through, and you can predict how your business is going to do in different day parts. I'm not the only one who thinks this. McKinsey states that they think digital maturity was a clear success indicator during the crisis, as well as obviously restaurants that already had a significant off-premise business ahead of the crisis. But actually, I can't quite read it because my face is in the way, but a strong online ordering presence, digital loyalty programs, robust customer relationship management, they've been lifelines for the restaurants during this. And if trends in China are any indication, consumers could remain digitally engaged, even more digitally engaged after the crisis. And I believe this is the case. I think this is the time to make those digital relationships and make the tech upgrades so that you can have those digital relationships. So that's not to say that technology is going to solve everything, obviously. There's a lot of challenges with integrating technology. Adding new digital channels can create operational bottlenecks, siloed data, add extra complexity via third-party providers. In order to mitigate these risks, you should consider integrating digital ordering and delivery within your POS system. I think that's probably the one way to integrate to mitigate those risks is by integrating your systems, especially into the POS. And you want to also drive orders via white label platforms so you have as much first-party data as possible. All of this drives the upside of what an integrated IT system can give you. Again, you integrate your delivery orders into your POS, you're saving time, money, you have better order accuracy, happier customers, better predictive analytics and forecasting. Your employees are more productive. And I think it's important to find ways to integrate third-party data into your data ecosystem. And all of that leads to omnichannel loyalty, digitizing this guest relationship. The digital customer experience is going to be critical to retaining current customers. Deep personalization is critical, but it can't be done without data. So an investment into a strong omnichannel loyalty platform will be critical for operators, both to uphold your own brand, because as I discussed earlier, aggregators are taking almost all of the touch points away from you to connect with your customers. It's also a way for you to funnel customers into more profitable channels. So as I said, what fuels a strong loyalty program? Data. I think right now is a critical time to take a step back and optimize your tech strategy so that you can capture first and third-party data from both in-store, mobile, online, promotional, any kind of external data sources. It's important that you think of data not as a reward system, but an engagement system to connect with your customers across multiple digital channels, and then use the data that you get from them to make decisions about merchandising, pricing, promotions. Not all contact needs to be a discount or a reward. You can have high value brand interactions that reinforce your relationship with your customer. So here again, some of very many technology companies that are focused on the customer experience, marketing, and CRM. These are B2B solutions. There are also a number of direct-to-consumer solutions that look for the network effect, but I think it's most important to be focusing on building your own brand and maintaining your own brand. So I prefer white label solutions in this category. So automation, where are the robots going to take over? No, I don't think so. But I do think specific task automation, voice assistance, computer vision are going to be vital. And here are some examples of how they're going to optimize operations. So I do think this new normal is going to make specific task automation more prevalent. Adoption rates are not going to skyrocket, but for the operators that can invest in these technologies now, I think that they're going to see tremendous rewards. Spurred by recent health concerns, obviously, we're seeing some restaurants already piloting a range of contactless technologies, robots that handle takeout orders, pulley systems at the registers, smart screen controlled shelving. Some of my favorite solutions in this category are precision preparation and cooking. So not a fully automated kitchen solution, but for specific tasks. Smart IoT KDSs, which can manage kind of real-time inputs and help guide employees to making better decisions around the cooking and more efficient decisions. Inventory analysis, quality control, cashierless checkout, food waste management. I have two pictures here of two companies I like that are using robotics, but for precision automation. So Picnic, it's a modular pizza topping platform. And then we have Pressy Taste, which is focused on using AI and computer vision to drive faster service, both front of house and back of house at QSRs and bakeries. So beyond, robotic driven automation, I think voice is a critical step in the next wave of compelling restaurant technology. In particular, I think it's going to help the increasing workforce challenges that we have. It can help automate redundant operational tasks like inventory checks and employee training. Valiant AI, it's one drive-through voice technology. They estimate that automated voice assistants at the drive-through can decrease customer wait time by 10 to 25%. And that increases the speed per order, improves the upsell rate as well. These are, again, some of the many voice-driven platforms that are focused exclusively on the restaurant technology. And you've seen adoption by Domino's, Starbucks, McDonald's, obviously, in terms of integrating and updating the operations with these types of technologies. So, for those of us who spend, I spend a lot of time focused, across the food sector, but, specifically within the restaurant tech ecosystem, tech is evolving so constantly that it's hard for those of us who are spending their full-time day to keep up with it. So, you're busy, you're operating a restaurant, it's even harder for you. So we put together this restaurant tech ecosystem. This is beyond the 5 categories that I discussed today. This is last year's version, last year's model, and we'll be updating it again this fall. But this will hopefully help you kind of discover some of the technologies that are solving some of your operational and customer challenges, and help you prioritize technologies that integrate with each other. You can download it at betterfoodventures.com. The bottom line message is, in order to survive this new normal, McKinsey calls it the next normal, it's imperative to use digitization to increase your customer value and really optimize your operational efficiencies. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions. And you're welcome to reach out to me either by email or by Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brita. I do have one question. And guys, if you do have a question, please feel free to type it in now. But let's start with this one. So this one is from Jenedy, and she says, thanks, Brita. Digital ordering and loyalty programs inherently promise an elevated customer experience. In order to deliver on this customer promise, operators need at the same time to enhance their back of house operations to, quote, keep up. What are your thoughts on tech trends on improving back of house operations?
Yeah, some of that are, as I mentioned, are physical changes to the back of house. So I think, considering what are the physical limitations and implications of increasing takeout order volume, I think that's basic, not a technology solution, but probably the most critical. In terms of, back of house operational efficiencies, it's a whole nother category, which I do think is important. It's around, inventory management, cost analysis, business intelligence, training, food safety, food waste. I'm trying to think of some of the other categories that are important. They're obviously labor management. So, if you go to Better Food Ventures and download that map, you'll see a number of the technologies that are in those categories. I think, again, we're not looking at new technologies to manage, these COVID trends. It's really just escalated, kind of the pre-COVID trends. And there's a lot of companies that have been spending the last couple of years really getting ramped up to be positioned for, hopefully a surge in activity.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Jenedy, I hope that helped. And we do have another question that came in from Joseph Murphy. And the question is, when the COVID crisis is over, do you think customers will return to using touchscreen kiosks?
I do, because they're even using them now, even if it's gross or freaks people out. So yeah, I do think ideally we're not in a touchscreen environment, but that is still a universal solution. And I'm still seeing a lot of touchscreen use now. So even during the crisis, so I don't think touchscreen is going away, but I do think, kind of the next generation of that is, using your own phone. And that's using kind of QR codes, NFC technology. Bbot's a great example of that, where you scan something, it pops up, and you have the menu right there, and you can order. Not everybody has a mobile phone. Not everybody has connectivity. So I do think you need, to think about a number of different. You don't have one customer profile, so you have to serve all your customers.
Right. Absolutely. Great answer. Thank you. We do have a question that came in from an anonymous attendee, but it asks, do you offer a technology assessment?
No, I'm not a technologist. So I'm an investor in the space. So, I spend a lot of time with both startups and incumbents in the space, trying to understand, as well as operators, trying to understand where the pain points are, where the solutions are. But in terms of tech implementation, that's not my forte.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. And we do have another question that came in, and this is from Syed, and he asks, do you think there is still space in this? Someone just asked another one, so it went up. Let me scroll up here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Let me move that down. Okay, so it asks, do you think there is still space in this competitive marketplace for the mom and pop concepts that still want to run their operations the old-fashioned way?
No, that's not a definitive answer, but I think the mom and pop restaurants are going to need to upgrade. Do they need, a robot in the back of the house? No. But do they need a website? Yes. Do they need to rethink their, online ordering and delivery options? Yes. Do they need to think about engaging their customers through digital and bringing their customers back through digital channels? Yes. So, there's obviously, like Peter Luger Steakhouse in New York is well known. During the crisis started, they had to rethink their entire business. And, now I think they've started offering a burger. They've never offered takeout or delivery. They're offering takeout and delivery now through Caviar. And their lunch only burger is now available all day. And I don't think that's going to go away. So, even really well-established brands have had to really rethink how do they continue to engage their customer base, and personalize the relationship and make it feel current. So that's a long answer. I could have just said no, but
no, I think
that's why that's the why behind the no.
Thank you. And thank you for explaining that why. The why is always important. Okay, we do have quite a few questions, so I'll just start going.
Sure.
This question is for Mark, and the question is, in our pizza business, we have our point of sale system, and we really needed to kick in the customer factor of interaction, especially delivery. And when we speak to our point of sale, they say they are working on it. I agree with everything you say, but pretty much all of the point of sale industry have laid off many of their engineers. How do we get through this major issue while trying to build our brand?
Yeah, I think that's the totally legitimate question. There are a number of kind of middleware companies that are helping, connect directly into the POS with the different delivery providers. So I'm actually terrible with the names, so that's why I create all these maps, is so I can remember all the company names. But I don't have it in front of me, but there's, probably, actually I might have it on, anyway. Email me directly. You can email me directly, Brita@betterfoodventures.com, but there's probably, 6 or 7 companies that off the top of my head, Chowly, It's a Checkmate, Omnivore, and I apologize. I hate to mention a few without saying the others because they're, because I can't remember their names, but that are working as, kind of the middleware to help connect direct integration into your POS. So you're right. It's a challenging time in terms of kind of updates and technology updates at the POS side. But even again, before this, it's a huge problem. I mean, for many years, as you're aware, all Grubhub orders are coming through by the phone or through a fax, or through the app, and then you have to re-input them into the POS, and that's where you have a lot of order issues and delays and bottlenecks. So,
right,
tablet traffic jam.
No, thank you. And I did drop Brita's email in the chat for you all to have. And so, okay, on to the next question. This question is from Ruben. And the question is, what are some good tech ideas to get rid of the pager systems?
So there are a number of companies that are focused on that. I don't spend as much time looking at that, but so utilizing people's mobile phones, so getting their phone number, being able to text them, that's probably the number one. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. It also, that the upside there is now you have their information, so now they're part of your loyalty program, and they're part of. There's another data point in terms of your profile.
No, that's
it's absolutely, I think text and mobile are going to have to be number one, especially because we're having kind of less in restaurant dining. So I think not everybody has a phone. My parents don't have a smartphone, but increasing number of people do, and I think that's probably the number one technology to leverage there.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so we do have a question from Terrence as well. And this question is, who's the best resource to help restaurants manage their IT or digital marketing? Agencies, consultants, etc.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't have a single answer there, because there are a lot of, there's a lot of technology providers that provide consulting services as well. There's, depending on your area or your specific kind of niche, there are folks that focus on kind of SEO specifically for that. there's not, that's honestly probably the best person to talk to are your fellow restaurant operators in your area and the scene where they're getting success there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Got one answer.
There you go. Okay, and then our next question is from C. Libby, and the question is: Fluid 5 does offer tech assessments. Oh, okay, I think she's just letting everybody know Fluid 5 does offer tech assessments for hospitality sizes. So thank you. Awesome. And then we do have another comment here saying, you can move to a point of sale provider that offers such capabilities. Toast for One. I think they were talking about the paging system. So. Perfect.
I think that's for the online ordering and delivery integration. Yeah.
Okay. Then
So I'd say, so I would add to that. I agree. And so most of the cloud-based POS systems do have better integration and APIs that we're getting a better ecosystem of different technologies that interact and play well with each other. I think that's the future of the industry. So we historically have seen, POS providers try to create closed systems. I think, the future is, integrations because you can leverage other people's hard work and have a better product. So generally, most cloud-based POS systems, although not all of them are great for enterprise, but generally those are the ones where you're going to find, the best integrations, direct integrations. But unfortunately, if you've already, sunk your money into another POS provider, then you have to weigh, the transition costs, et cetera.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, Brita.
Yeah.
And I don't see any more questions. So we will end there. If you guys do have any questions, again, I did put Brita's email in the chat. Feel free to ask anything if it does pop up later today. But with that, I do want to thank you again, Brita, for being here today. I hope everyone was able to get something out of this. And I do want to let everyone know our next webinar on this stage, Silicon Hills, is at 2:30, and the title is Wellness in the Industry. So I'm sure we can all use some extra wellness. We hope to see you guys there. Thanks so much for joining, and have a great rest of your marketplace experience.
Thanks, everyone.